Okay, so welcome to my final presentation. My topic is design of a future drum kit. So I'm going to present to you guys what I have done for my graduate project. So instead of just showing you the concept, I want to invite you guys to go along the journeys with me. So start with the origin, and then we end up as the self-reflection. So let's start it. So origin, why drum kit? Why this product? You can see in the picture that there were a bunch of young, talented, determined drummers, and I was one of them. I learned drum myself for 6 years when I was a child, but didn't continue. However, this passion was deeply rooted in my heart, so for this project, I said, I really want to do something about drums as a drummer and also as a designer now. Then I take a look back at the current drum kit, and surprisingly, the product hasn't changed almost at all since its first appearance. It's not because of it's a perfect product. It already has a lot of problems. We can see that it's very space consuming and a lot of cables, and also it's very complex and difficult to disassemble. But simply only solving this kind of structural problem, for me, it's not enough. I want to see something deeper. So I ask myself one question, that what does the drum kit mean to drummers? So underneath the surface, what's the emotion that deep inside that really connects the drummers and drums? What makes drums so special to the drummers? So with these questions in mind, let's enter the research and synthesize phase. And in this phase, I will show you how I established the design vision step by step. The research was divided into two main parts, the trend research and user research. For the trend research, it's mainly about market research, customer research, competitor research, and also, for example, I went to the Music China, the biggest instrument fair in Shanghai last year, to see what other people are doing there. And for user research, I interviewed 7 real drummers. So for interview, I really go deep into the details, like the scenarios, what problem do they have, and more importantly, what emotions they held towards the drum. And after all the research, it's a lot of knowledge I gained, so I made them all into this kind of insight card. So each card has one very precise and compact sentence saying the insights and with a title. Then I just put them all on the wall and began clustering. It's a lot. It's about 400 cards, so I just clustering them and see if there are any interesting topic appear. And this is the logic of the synthesize process. You can see that start with a lot of insights. Then by analyzing and clustering, I divide them into 4 main topics. So future forecast, target group, core emotion, and functional needs. Then with these 4 topics, I can finalize them into the division and also design guidelines. So let's start with the future forecast. So basically I have 3 conclusions for the future forecast. The first is that the future of music instruments will be the fuse of the digital and the physical. Because now, although the musicians, they really appreciate the authenticity that the acoustic instrument brings, but on the other hand, the digitalization of the industry really brings a lot of potential to this industry. They have a lot of more opportunities and creativities based on digitalization. The second is that musicians will be the designer of their own instrument. Because during the market research, it can be seen that this customizability is very important to attract musicians to buy the instrument. I'm not just talking about the visual appearance. For example, I can have a black drum, I can have a wood drum, I can choose myself. It's also about functional module, like how flexible the musicians can control their instrument. I believe that in the end, musicians will just be part of the design team of the instrument. The third one is that the instrument will mainly be differentiated by the interaction. That's very interesting because we have this digitalization. So, for example, if you want to create a drum beat, in the past we have to use drums, right? But now we can use keyboard. We can even use other interactions to create the same sound. But will you call the keyboard a drum? Definitely not. So I think how you define the instrument. For example, in this project, I still want to design a drum kit. So I have to, which means that I have to keep this authentic user product interaction. And for the most important part, emotion part. So although I know that in the stereotype that drummers are really full of energy, energetic, also very powerful, loud, always brings the atmosphere to its climate. But actually deep down inside, it is the curiosity that really bonds the drums and the drummers. Nearly every drummers will tell me that during the interview that, yeah, hey Tianchen, I was so surprised. I was so curious that when I first met the drum kit, how this product can create so many different sounds and beats. This curiosity, this exploration of the sounds, that's what attracts drummers and that's what makes drumming fun and special to them. As for the functional needs, I identified 4 functional needs. I think it's really important to be improved. So first is richer sound. As we mentioned before about curiosity that drummers are constantly searching for new sounds, different sound, unique sounds. For example, in the image, you can see that only acoustic drum kit, no, not enough. Maybe only electronics ones, also not. So drummers began to use this kind of hybrid drum kit just to pursue more sounds. The second one, easy setup. Yeah, it's very obvious that the current drum kit is super complex. You need to spend a lot of time just to set it up. This is extremely inconvenient for those band drummers who need to move this frequently. Yeah, as well, the flexible transport. The current drum kit, they're huge, and after disassembled, a lot of loose components, which is not good. The fourth one is a customizable configuration. This means that, for example, as time goes by, the drummers, they may want to try different layout of the drum kit. For example, they want to change the number of the drum heads or the cymbals. But in the current drum kits, if they want to do this, for example, if I want to add another drum, I need to think of, yeah, maybe I need to buy a separate stand. And also I need to consider how to connect this to the existing structure, which is quite much effort. As for target group, so based on my interview and also I watched a lot of documentaries and interviews of those famous drummers, then I generate these 7 personas. I mapped them on this kind of coordinate. You can see that horizontal axis is about the level of like how open it is. For example, on the left-hand side, it's more about conservative drummers, very old school, very material driven. And on the right-hand side, it's more open-minded drummer who embrace technology, let's say. And the vertical axis represents the drum skill. Either you are beginner, or you are a very professional drummer. And here I choose the upper right corner as my target group because 2 reasons. First is that, because as already mentioned in the future forecast, that the future is the hybrid of the digital and physical. So for those conservative drummers, they only like the acoustic ones. So a lot of design opportunities were lost due to this. As for the skills, because I already learned drum for 6 years, I know that a rookie and the professional, they have totally different functional requirements. And here, I was more interested in the professional world. So based on target group, I made this virtual persona. So I call it experiment to explore. You can see the quote that the only important thing is to awaken the curiosity for the full potential of our mind. And you can see he is professional, passionate, and explorative as for his values and also those four needs. And his professional drummer, he has his own apartment, and he will drum in rehearsal studio, live house, concert, and also home. So a lot of different places. So based on all of this, I established my design vision that I believe with my design, drummers should be able to freely explore the world of sounds to fulfill their curiosity. And also here comes with some design guidelines. So first that the final design must be a physical product, and also the final design should be tuned quickly. And also this drumming interaction, the very essential one, has to stay the same. And also the user should be able to change the configuration of the drum kit. Now let's enter the design phase, where we turn the vision into reality. So at first, I held the creative session. So based on vision, let's see what kind of creative ideas we can get. You can see that we have a lot of different nice ideas, and after selection based on the innovativity and practicality, I choose this one is that I think I will just design a compact and flexible drum kit with which drummers can create their own sounds by exploring the outside world. Just like the little boy in the image that he used the spoon and drumming on the pot to get some new sounds, because those amazing sounds don't have to come from very fancy object. Very simple object can create amazing sounds. And then we enter the really industrial design phase, where I have 3 design circles. So for each design circle, it's something like this, showing the image that I will have the mood pictures and with the sketches to show my idea and how it looks like. And then I will present it to the designers within the company and then get some feedback and then repeat the process. And after 3 design circles, I have 3 final concepts, 3 concepts. You can see that on the left-hand side, it's the first concept. It's more like a digital approach. So we only have a huge digital display where you can drum on, and within the display, it's totally free for drummers to change the position of the drums, etc. And in the middle, it's a more traditional approach that was inspired by the martial art training station, where we have this main tree trunk and with all the drum head as the branches sticking out. The right-hand side, the third concept, was inspired by the bookshelf and ladder. So we have a totally new archetype that it's easily to be fold and unfold, and also drum can change the drum head, the position very easily within the frame. Then I made this Harris profile to evaluate the concept to see which concept has more potential and should be further developed. So I made my criteria based on how excited it is and how innovative it is. And also, does it fulfill those functional requirements? So after scoring, you can see that the third concept holds the biggest potential to be developed. So I chose that one. Yeah, of course, that concept is very rough. You can see it's only some frame and some circles. We need to make it into a real product, right? So I start with the mood board. So what kind of feeling I want to give to this product? I want to be essential, I want to be precise, to look professional, and also I want to be sleek because as a drum, it has to look cool, look stylish. Then, since you can see that the third concept is quite a systematic concept, so I use this method. I broke them down into 4 key components. You can see the frame, the drum head, the pedal, and the module and stick. Then with the help of Sketch and CAD, I can generate a lot of ideas and then just quickly try and error and then find the most suitable combination of the components. Then the final design just was created. Okay, now I think it's time for me to show my final design, so let the show begin. I would like to start with this metaphor I find. So just as some people will collect basketball shoes, some people will collect the Lego. Similarly, drummers, they are the collector of the sounds. They are not just the performing, but they're also collecting. In this way, the drumstick, it's both a tool for performing, but also a tool for collecting. And the drum kit itself, it's no longer just an instrument for performing, but also showcase of his own collection, the sounds. So now you can see this is collector, a compact and mobile drum kit with a minimalistic and modern design language. Back view, front view. So basically the concept consists of three main products. The drum kit itself, which means the frame and also the drum head, and then the smart module, and also the intelligent drumsticks. So normally the module and drumsticks will just be placed like stuck on the frame for charging, but also you can take it out to go out to collect the sound. For example, you can see the back side of the module. You have this clip. You can just push it and it will just jump out. Then you can clip it on your belt and drumstick. So at the bottom of the drumstick, there will be a button, so you can turn it on or turn it off. Here's another design point that because during the research I find out that the electronic drums, one drawback of it is that all the sound, although they are hitting on the drum head, all the signals, all the sound, the data will go back to the terminal and then go to drum's ears through the headphone, which is quite unnatural. We have this biological misalignment by this kind of interaction. So I think, yeah, we'll just give it back. So each drum head, in my concept, has its own individual speaker system. So which means that if you hit this drum head, the sound will come from this drum head as well. And for each drum head, you have hinges on the back side. The orientation of the drum head should tilt it a bit left, a bit right. And also you can rotate and slide it along the metal bar and then fix it. Guess what? You can just unscrew the button and take out the drum head completely. So in this way, you can choose your own layout. You can see in the picture that you can have different numbers of drum head. And also I designed 3 different sizes for drums to choose. And for the horizontal bar, you have 2 buttons on both of sides where you can just press it and then you will be able to move it along the frame to fit your own ergonomic dimension. And for the pedal was clicked on the frame to charge it, and also it can rotate a bit based on the position of the heel point to provide the drummers with more natural opening feet angle. More details. And this is the power inlet. Because in this concept, I really try to use this wireless approach because the cable management is just a mess. So I want to clean everything up. So the frame itself will be hollow with electronic components inside, and we only have one cable that connects and powers the whole drum kit. Now if you compare the user scenarios of the concept and to the regular drum kit, we can see that the traditional drum kit, it only has 2 key scenarios, the drumming and the transporting. And why the line in between it's red is because of that, there are still a lot of pinpoints problems existing in these user scenarios, as we already mentioned before, for example, difficult to transport. And in my design, it is not only just simply solving this kind of pinpoints to make it the line screen, but also I want to really expand the user journey, to extend it, to really involve the drummers even in the early stage of the design stage of the drum kit, so they can create their own drum sound library, which really makes the experience more fun. Then let's look at the user scenarios one by one. So we start with the sound collecting. So let's imagine that you want to go out in a new city to have a day trip, and you want to collect some exciting sounds. You can simply just detach the drum module with you and also drumstick, and click on the belt, and you are ready to go. You see that you can collect sound of the fans, and also meanwhile you can just adjust the parameter by interacting with the drum module to change the parameter in real time. This is especially useful for those professional drummers because they have this technical knowledge of the sound. By this they can have even more control of the sound they collect. Yeah, what about the sound of whipping the bushes? The sound of the tree trunk? Or some real rock music? Yeah, we can even collect sound of the railway if we want. Guess what? We can even drum on waters, which we can never imagine before. As for the interaction, it will be quite simple. So we can either control the module by voice. You can see the smart assistant is embedded, and also we can rotate to change the parameter and maybe slide, and also slide to, for example, if we are configuring the sound on the drum head. And also, if you want to go on a holiday and you cannot just bring the whole drum kit just to power your module and stick. That's why I designed these small accessories that you have a separate charging stand. It's decorative but also functional. So after you collect your sound into a drum module, the next step will be synchronize it, right? So that's also very simple. Just simply push the button on the drum head, and then this drum head will be connected to the drum module. Then you are able to configure the sound of this drum head to the drum module. Yeah, you can do this one by one to each drum head, and that's all. Yeah, then you can just drum like a real drummer. Let's say if you want to transport it, very simple. Just simply detach the drum pedal and fold it. You're ready to go. You can see it takes much less space compared to the traditional drum kit. What's more is that when it's folded, it can also bring this kind of decorative element into this interior environment. So it's not just a messy product when not in use, it's something else now. You can see that the drums can place it in a very authentic, nostalgic jazz studio, but also you can place it on a rock and roll, this black fog environment with the spotlight on you. It's also super cool. Okay, enough for the concept. I think that's all for the concept. But we need to evaluate, right? We need to see how the drummers, what do they think about it? Do they like it? So first, I evaluated the emotions triggered by the concept, both by the UX, the user experience, or the idea of the sound collection, the folding, and also the product itself, the industrial design part, aesthetics. You can see that, in general, the emotions triggered are quite positive. Drummers really like it. They like this new approach, this exploration of sound idea. They really love it. It really brings something new to the current drum kit. As for the function needs, ask the participants to score how good they fulfilled each needs based on this 1 to 5 rating scale. You can see that every score is above 4, so I can say that it's fulfilled the task here. And also they have some other feedbacks, some nice ones. They really like this wireless approach because the current cable management is really a pain in the ass, especially on stage. And then for those the sound collecting ideas, they see a huge potential that maybe we can even further build this into online platform for the drummers around the world to share their sound samples. That would be pretty cool. The third one is that because they see a lot of nostalgic classic drum kit, and suddenly I bring something very modern and minimalistic. They feel surprised and they like it. They want to try it. But to be true, there are also some concerns. First is that the durability of the drumstick. Because now we have electronics one. Although we have electronic drumstick, although in the original design story, they are supposed to use the same drumsticks for both collecting and performing. But we need to validate this, that is this strong enough to also be performed. Otherwise, maybe they can just use the normal drumstick for performing and use the smart one for collecting. The second concern is that although they know that this is not a replacement of drum kit, it's more like a try, explore, next step for the drum kit. But they are really worried about, do I need to teach my drumming habit? Because they have been trained for so long in a traditional drum kit. So they may need some time to get used to my product. As for future development, we can see here first, durability of the drumstick need to be validated, and second, stability. This is very important. Although that every hinge I referenced in the existing products, which means that it is theoretically working, but you need to test it. And also the weight. In the software simulation, the whole drum kit is around 17 kilo, but this is just a rough estimation. We need to accurately calculate it to see if it's really good for transport, easy for transport. And implementation of the wireless charging technology, I already saved some space in the product, but we need to see how to really put them inside the components. And also different CMF styles, because now we only have one neutral black style, but in the future maybe we can have different styles just to fit more to different drummers. For example, we can have the bronze and the wood, one for the jazz drummer, and have the pure black with some stickers on it for those very hardcore rock drummers. And then the development of digital experience. Although this project is focused on the physical product, but you can see there's a lot of user interaction, user interface involved. So in the future, this should be finished as well. No project is perfect. Now it's time to spend some time to really reflect on the process. So am I rushing or am I dragging? Some good points are for the quality of the outcome. Personally, it's reached my personal expectation. I'm really satisfied. And then the communication, because this is a quite complex project for me. I did it in 3 countries and always remote communication. But I manage it. Third one is about determination. I think my determination always remains in a quite high level. Otherwise, I cannot finish it. But there's something I need to be improved on. So first, I realized that I relied on too much on the mood pictures and the verbal presentation during the process. I should have spent more effort on the visualization during the process, which helps me to clarify my mind and also communicating. Second, the stress management. I know this is a special time not only for me, but for everybody here. But sometimes I'm just too stressed. And this stress kind of affected the project itself. So in the future, I have to manage my stress better. The final one and the most important one is that I think as a designer, I realized that you have to be more confident in your own idea and give proper augmentation. And this I have really a long way to go, but I will find my way. Okay, I think that's all for me to present, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. And I will see you in the meeting in the Q&A session. Thanks.